Hey everybody, welcome to the 2023 competitor pre-briefing for this year's Goblin Optimist Regatta. We're very excited. We have 90 entries and probably a few more on the way, and so pretty excited for a great event. The forecast looks awesome, and we have a lot of good things planned. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I want to start by introducing you to and I'm sure you have already seen it, the Goblin Optimist Regatta event site. And so right here, you can see if you scroll down, obviously most you probably found here because there's an entry form right here. But if you scroll down, there's a notice board and race documents. And so just yesterday, I posted the sailing instructions a little bit later than I had planned, but they're here. You've got your daily online sign-in. I'll go over that, your onshore staging, your racing area, your course chart, your harbor map, and of course our online protest form, which is really helpful because of the multi-location situation that this regatta is and how Santa Barbara is sort of set up. So it's an easy way for us to see protests as they come in. Let's just start with a couple of quick thank yous. I really want to thank Michelle Edwards and Eric Andresen. And Eric's been doing this for a couple of years now, and he's been involved for many, many years in such a big way for the Santa Barbara Youth Sailing Foundation and the Santa Barbara Yacht Club, and just lined up just a killer volunteer group. I'm so grateful to all the volunteers, and of course to the Santa Barbara Youth Sailing Foundation for letting us borrow some of their equipment to make this event happen, as well as the Santa Barbara Yacht Club, which has been super generous with everything to make this a great event. All right, so let's start with a real easy one, which is where do I go when I get to Santa Barbara? So attachment H has a harbor map, and what you can see here is this is Cabrillo. Let me just zoom in a little bit. This is Cabrillo Boulevard. Okay, so if you were to get off the freeway, it's going to kick you out in a couple of different places, but if you're coming from the south, it's going to kick you along this Cabrillo Boulevard, and then it turns into Shoreline Drive here, and you take a left into here. So if you were to put into Google Maps 130 Harbor Way, it's gonna take you all the way here, but then it's going to take you over to the Yacht Club. Well, this is hosted by the Yacht Club. The actual onshore staging is over here. So you got to go through here and then take a little left-hand turn through a kiosk booth. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Hopefully it's not too blurry. A little kiosk booth here. So you can take a left, go through the kiosk booth, follow the parking lot all the way down. There's an automatic gate that opens here. And then this is really where we're dropping off the boats. Okay. And that's where we're going to rig, and the regatta headquarters is over here. There's a lot of parking in this lot that I'll go over momentarily. Let me see if I can get you a little bit better view of this via our onshore staging document. So you can kind of see here's Cabrillo, and that map I further showed you just a moment ago takes you down further. It comes back and gets you all the way in here. Let me actually see if I can Google map this for you. Okay, just kidding. My share screen thing is keeping me from like putting on a new tab. That's awesome. Okay, well, how about this? All right. Sorry for the delay here. Google Maps. And we can go like this and come on over to the harbor here. And so just so you see a little bit better, once again, if you were to get off, there's a lot of places to get off. The way I used to do it is I'd get off here and just follow Cabrillo all the way down. And you can just, again, Google 130 Harbor Way, but it'll take you along Cabrillo if you're coming from the south. From the north, they'll probably kick you off at Bath Street. But regardless, if you can get to Shoreline Drive from Cabrillo coming south, or here from the north, you're going to turn into Harbor Way. Okay, and then you take your first left-hand turn here, and you can see there's the kiosk booth right here. Okay, so they'll give you a ticket for your car. You're responsible for those parking fees. Unfortunately, as everything has, it's gone up a little bit. I want to say it's a maximum of $12 per day, maybe 15, but it's definitely gone up. It used to only be 10. So anyway, what you'll do is come down this driveway here, come into the main harbor launch ramp area. And this is where we're going to be staging and launching. And then the regatta headquarters will be over here, as we can see right here. So here's regatta headquarters, and you can do boats and dollies here. So as far as parking goes, there are white stalls, okay, and there are yellow stalls. And you can kind of see by this picture here that the white stalls are for cars only, okay? These are all white stalls. Yellow stalls are for trailers and boats, or trailers attached to cars. And I recently just had a really hard time with people saying, well, it's no big deal. And the harbor lot people said it's no big deal. I guess that happened at Regatta, but we really would appreciate these being used for trailers. And I can't guarantee you don't get a ticket if you park your car in these spots and they're not attached trailers. So as a reminder, there's plenty of extra parking right here. Like there's hundreds of spots, not too far a walk away. So I understand that this is where we're at, but you could drop off equipment, etc. Go park your car over here along this stretch, or there's tons of parking right here. It's really not a far walk at all. So, all right. So this is where trailers go. You can rig in this area. We ask that competitors keep their boats kind of in the trailer stalls as they're rigging. Don't drag them out into the driveways. And we want to keep these driveways clear so that people can go up and down. Sometimes the harbor patrol will come check on us, and we want to keep them clear. When the boats are being launched, we're going to launch from this ramp and this ramp here. So these eastmost ramps, we're going to leave these two open for the fishermen and other traffic, so that we're not taking up all the launch ramps. And after we're launched, we'll need help with volunteers, and we have some of our own volunteers, but we would like parents and coaches and other competitors to help make sure that the dollies get returned back here, and you can pile your dollies together so you know where your dollies are, etc. And then the launch. When you're launching, be aware that this is, at low tide in particular, can be very slippery. Okay, so down here where the growth gets, if it's very low tide, I haven't checked the tide charts, but keep an eye out and be very cautious as you're walking up and down that ramp so that you do not slip. Okay, coach boats. Coach boats and trailers can be stored on trailers, same areas. Any of these areas are okay and welcome for that. But if you want to put your coach boat in at night, you can put your coach boat over at the Santa Barbara Yacht Club NTID. So looking back at this, our area of launching is here. This is the launch ramp. Here's your, where we're launching from. And you can keep your trailers over here. But for your coach boats, all you have to do is when you come in, drive over to NTID, and there's 80 feet of NTI there to store your coach boat on. If necessary, we can raft, but I doubt there will be too much rafting necessary. Right here, there is a hoist that if you need to hoist in for your coach boat, it's right here. Okay, and maybe the easiest way to do that would be to come over here. Instead of taking your left-hand turn, you just come down towards the yacht club, and there's a hoist here. You can get the hoist key from the Santa Barbara Yacht Club front desk. Okay, so NTID is where coach boats can go. When we return to the dock, and they can be stored there over the night, by the way. When we return to the dock after sailing, move this because it's getting in my way. Okay, let me put this down here. Okay, so when we return to the dock afterwards, we'll come in off the ocean, and we'll come in through this channel and head over here. And there's going to be in this corner, as you can see here, a wash station. So we'll have a hose splitter and 2 hoses and quarters, and Nicole Staska is going to go ahead and be helping people rinse off over here, or at least be there to monitor the hoses. Once you do that, go ahead and get your boat back here. We'll make it really quick. So it's boom, 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 rinse and go. Let's see here. The next thing to talk about is bathrooms. So there are bathrooms at Sea Landing, which is just over here. Okay, there's individual men's and women's, and there's another one that has a whole bunch of them that are over here. Okay, just a short walk. So like past this building here is some bathrooms, and just past where the picture ends are some bathrooms. There's also trash cans all around the parking lot. So, especially because there'll be, I'm sure, candy involved in this regatta, we want to make sure that all those candy wrappers end up in the proper spots. So please make sure your candy wrappers and everything goes in the trash where it's supposed to go. When you arrive, you can go to Regatta headquarters over here in the corner of the parking lot and get your lunch snacks and your t-shirts, or I think they're dry shirts. But you can get all of that over here in the corner and check in. All right, kind of an important feature of what we do at Santa Barbara is daily online sign-in. So while we expect you to check in for the regatta, we also want you to sign in before 10:45 each day to tell us you're going on the water. Okay, so there's a difference between like, hey, I'm here and I'm actually going to go on the water. So we're going to ask you to do this. It's a simple Google form. And yes, you need to do it for every one of your sailors coaches. And we're asking for the coach cell phone number this year so that we can contact you if for some reason we don't see your sailor on the water, which will be an online on the water check-in from the race committee boat. But it's really, really easy. This is also, by the way, coaches and parents, where you can do a sail number change. So if, for instance, you were sailing with sail number 12 in Greenfleet on day one, and you're like, oh, there was 2 12s out there. Let's make it a 122 or something like that. You can change your sail number here. Also, as a heads up, if you happen to have 2 12s or 2 1s or something like that from your club, I would really ask, you consider, putting on a different sail number. Obviously, it makes the scoring much more efficient when we don't have like 3 number 8s out on the water and we're trying to figure out who's finished in front of who in each race. So, okay, that's your online sign-in. It's linked right here on the notice board, and you must do that every day at 10:45 a.m. Before 10:45 a.m. Okay, so let's talk about the racing area. So here's a zoomed out picture, of course, of the venue. So we're over here is our launching area. The Greenfleet will have a skipper's briefing. So we will have an in-person skipper's briefing tomorrow at 10:30. We'll have a Greenfleet one right after that. But the Greenfleet racing area is going to be right here. So parents of Greenfleet sailors, you say, it's my first one. Where can I watch? You can go to the beach right here and open up your favorite drink and watch your sailors sail right here. It'll be very easy to see. Obviously, be able to see from the wharf as well. If you want to go over there, our Champ Fleet will be sailing outside, and most likely, based on the forecast, we're looking at Racing Area 1. The reason we would go to Racing Area 2 is that if there was an east breeze, then we would probably send it over here. Typically, it's less breeze. Or better breeze, excuse me, if it's from the east. But we expect a westerly or northwesterly, so right here is good. Maybe the best place to spectate might be just the Santa Barbara Yacht Club, which, if I zoom out here, is right here. Okay, so you're right on the beach, and we'll be sailing pretty much right here. So you should be able to see it. Binoculars are helpful if you want to see sail numbers as such, but this is basically where we'll be sailing most likely. Okay. The notice board for this event, as mentioned, is online. So should there be any protests or anything like that filed, we can say a schedule of protests will appear here, and I'll have a posted date or whatever. Most of that stuff I'll probably put at the very top so you see it right away if you were to sign into sbyc.org/goblin-optimist regatta. So I guess I can just, this has kind of got the whole URL here, but you can just do Goblin Optimist Regatta, boom, and it'll take you to the exact same place. And there you are. So you'll see notices turn up here if there are any. Our protests are online, and that is because we are docking our RC boat and a lot of the regatta headquarters stuff. It's kind of 2 separate locations for where we are. So I like to see that as PRO and to make sure that I know when they're being filed. So it's just a simple Google form based on exactly off of a U.S. Sailing protest form. And then that's what we're looking for. Okay, the RC signal boat will be called Occupational Hazard. It is a sailboat that is, I think, a Catalina 30, maybe Catalina 40. I don't know, but it's a sailboat, and it says Occupational Hazard on the back. And of course, we'll have the RC flag on it. The spectating, I think we talked about. You can see Greenfleet kind of from, from Stearns Wharf, or the beach just next to the registration area here. And the Champ Fleet course, you'll be able to see pretty well from either the break wall if you wanted to just kind of hang outside, the beach here in front of the yacht club, or at the yacht club. If you're going to the yacht club, you're welcome to dine there. They do reserve some spots for yacht club members in the bar, so there will be signage saying where, hey, this is for yacht club members, please. But if you are going to just spectate and you don't intend to buy any food, we ask that, there's a whole lower deck that you can sit down on. We can have chairs and fleet room and all that stuff, and that's totally free. No expectations of purchasing anything. But if you're going to sit down at a table up on the upper deck or in the dining room, it's usually hoped and expected that you would be dining with us at that time. So totally your call, but there's plenty either way and plenty of space to watch. Okay, so on fun things about this regatta. After racing on Saturday, we'll have a hot dog party over at the Santa Barbara Yacht Club. And again, just to show you the walking distance, we're at the launch ramp when you finish. And you're just going to walk over here along the sidewalk, follow the harbor around to the Santa Barbara Yacht Club. I'd say it's about a 5-minute walk, maybe. If you're walking quick, maybe 4, but depends. So that's where it's at. The parking is not great over here. There's 90-minute parking outside the harbor of the Santa Barbara Yacht Club, but it's pretty impacted usually. I don't know, maybe by the time the hot dog party's happening, it won't be, but long story short, if you got a decent parking spot over here, it might be just as easy to park there. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention, there's free vehicle parking at Pershing Park over here if you want to do that instead. If you say, hey, I want to save the $15, that's not a far walk. It's probably no further than walking from here, to be honest. So I think there's also free parking right here on, I think that's Bath Street right there. So just an FYI if you're trying to save a few bucks. Okay, and then on Saturday morning at 10:45, we'll have a costume contest. So pull up the sailing instructions so you see the schedule. So, we've got this competitor briefing on Saturday. The sign-in is due by 10:45, 12:30 first race. And then after racing, we put 5:30, but, around 5:30, hot dog beach party at Santa Barbara Yacht Club. We hope you join us for that. And then on Sunday, we'll have a costume contest. So, the costume contest will probably be more at like 10:45, but 10:30 is report time. Our only rule is that any decorations that might fall off of the boat shouldn't really go on the water, so not falling in the ocean. That's it. But you can, do what you want. You can decorate boats. You can decorate, dress up in a costume. I will most likely with my family be dressed up in a costume. So I will probably see you over there. And there will be awards for that too, little prizes. And of course, at the very end, we're going to have a pumpkin awards like per usual. So it should be pretty fun and a great weekend overall. So after this, if you have questions regarding other items and things like that, feel free to email me at racing@sbyc.org, or you can text me. And this is actually, once again, in the sailing instructions and all that stuff. So I think you can, in the notice of race here, right here, it says racing, and there's my cell phone number. And you can just send those questions to me and I'll answer them to everybody. But we're looking forward to a great weekend. This is such a fun event, and we hope you have safe travels, and we'll look forward to seeing you all tomorrow morning. All right, everybody, take care.